The question I would have is so look, there's nothing wrong with young ladies and even men enjoying themselves, but at some point, you got to get serious about life. And so, because for example, my daughter in her freshman year of college, she went off to London. I paid for it, had no issues with it. I just gave her some guidance and talked to her about being safe, and and looking out for possible issues and problems, and a little bit about boys, but not so much because I knew how she was raised. And I look at it like this: look, I got them to 18, no kids out of wedlock, no arrests, nobody went to jail, no all this other, no major problems and issues. Once they become an adult, every decision they make after that is on their own. All right, now I can support them in certain things, but you can't look at me after I gave you all the life lessons, I gave you the answers, and then you go against that. So, and I raised my daughters to focus on actually being wives and mothers. Whether they do that or not, that's up to them. But if they meet a nice man and he's ready and he's available for marriage and they're available for marriage, then I just don't see how 3 or 4 years of hot girl summers, or actually an extended period of that, gets you a wifehood. I just don't see how that helps you. And if you guys can't explain that, how that helps you, then how is it? Then how's that productive as a woman or
they
even a
can't
man?
explain. No one can explain.
Summer,
no one on here said it was for us though. So you guys are
right. They don't listen.
Well,
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. Nobody said it's to get us to wifehood. And okay, because it's 11:30 at night. Nobody said that. While we are out enjoying the summer, we are out with our homegirls. We may be twerking. Fine. We are dancing. Fine. We're gonna do a two-step. We're gonna do the two-step. We're gonna do the roundhouse. Whatever old time dance. We're out dancing, having a good time with our friends by the water, on the beach, traveling, because we're single right now. A man should not be intimidated. If he wanted it like that, then wife me up then. We're not out here laying it low and spreading it wide just because we're enjoying the summer with the sun on our skin. No one is saying that. No, nobody is saying that. Nobody has said that on this panel. We are having a time because we were cooped up in the house in the wintertime. Some of us are impacted negatively by the cold weather. It's hot. We're going to be outside dressed appropriately for the weather, and we're going to enjoy our lives. That is not.
You keep watering that.
Sex. It's not equating.
You keep watering it down. You're watering it down.
If you were listening, I never changed my statement when I said earlier today. Never.
I'm listening to you right now. You're watering it down.
I read the super chat.
You're talking about out in the summer, listening to Will Smith, having a good time, listening to summertime.
We're not doing that. We've had Scam likely to make the bumpet voices. We don't need you to do that tonight.
I'm not doing that. I'm talking about your point. You're watering it down.
It's not a watered down
point. For women to go out and act like whores?
No, you're not listening. You can sit there and say whores as slow as you want to. Nobody said that. And my point hours ago was never to do that. Hamp acts as it equates to sex. I said no. I said absolutely not. It's not equate to having sex. Maybe because your mind is in the gutter. You think because women are wearing sundresses, women are having sex.
No, it's not. My mind. We're talking about the general idea of what hot girl summer is.
On the panel,
we're talking about, and we come on
of the country, and we all said it does not always equate to sex. It
can't happen. Just to clarify, when I went around the room and asked, "Is sex a part of hot girl summer?" the majority said yes. So including
intercourse.
Thank you.
I said not intercourse.
Don't. I mean this, but like this in terms of when I asked the question, yes was said. So he's probably just addressing that.
Yeah, I got a question.
So I'm not watering it down because I'm saying the same thing I said earlier. So I didn't go into details again. Correct. I did not go into details again. But I'm definitely not watering down what I said earlier today. Absolutely not. My answer has not changed.
Let me read this
I'll go ahead and read this super chat.
Go ahead.
B-Love, $4.99. Shout out to you. I have a 21-year-old daughter. I keep it real with her, but educate her at the same time. I'm realistic. Okay. All right. That's good.
Yeah.
I had a question. Is hot girl okay. I'm just trying to get the right definition. Because because a lot of people push narrative. I do it too. You're damn right. I'm a troll. I mean, come on. But when they say girls trip, do you mean just a regular girls trip or people being out of control? Or when you say hot girl summer, does it mean a regular girls trip or people just acting a damn fool and going out of control? Like, where's the bar?
I can answer that, Scam. I can answer that.
You're not a girl, Gunny. No, you're not a girl. Gunny, you're not a girl.
Then I identify as a girl for this. I identify as a girl for this question.
You're not a girl tonight.
I identify as a girl for this question.
No, Gunny.
No, Gunny. No, Gunny.
Go ahead.
No, Gunny.
All right.
Go ahead, Tay.
Because none of y'all want to answer it. None of y'all want to be truthful.
No.
Love wants to sugarcoat it and make it seem like everybody's out there listening to Will Smith.
Can I ask one person?
You didn't respond, Gunny.
Can I
Relax.
ask one person?
Relax. You did not have that official same type of energy with that
Hot
nigga.
girl
So hold
summer
up.
and
Just let
girl
us
trips
talk.
are two different
Let us answer his
things.
question.
I'm trying to figure
That's
out which
different
one is
things.
a regular trip and which one is people acting out of control. Just so I know.
Personally, I'm gonna say hot girl summer is more out of control because that gives you the right to be like, okay, we gonna be turning up, tequila, twerking. When you go on a girls trip, you might be going for your peace of mind. You might be just going to have fun. You're just going away. That doesn't equate to, we're gonna do all the craziness. The fact that people even say, I'm gonna have a hot girl summer, you already know what that's gonna entail. I wanna have a hot girl summer. You wanna just be thotting and bopping most of the time.
Okay. That's fair. So we know what the bar is.
Women that go on girls trips too, and they're not doing anything crazy. And I think that.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Miss May.
I'm just trying to find out where the bar is, because so somebody can't say, "Well, no, hot girl summer, they could be reading the Bible," but now we're saying hot girl summer is out of control. Cool.
I personally think
that's not for me.
I looked up the definition.
I'm talking about just. Because implied meaning means more than the real meaning. Like, what meaning are we going by for the conversation? Are we saying that it's out of control?
The hot girl summer would be considered more out of control.
Okay.
Yeah, girls just at any age, and you can be married, you can be you can be single, and hot girl summer. It sounds like we were all kind of saying it's more so single women, although there are women that be married. So I'm not hot girl summer.
Yo, all right, hold on, Nate, because it just you gotta. We trying to have the conversation. You have to give a more of a pointed answer. So the hot girl summer is the one that's out of control for the sake of the conversation. All right,
yes. In my opinion, yes.
How many times do you need to do that before you actually get to? The reason I'm asking about wifehood and I keep actually going into that direction is that we have women out here saying, well, men aren't getting married. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that. You know, families aren't being built. Communities aren't being built. Infrastructure, economics, all this other stuff to include generational wealth. How do you get to that if your focus is if you know, I can understand, you know, one or even two, but you know, you're going to extend that out to the point where your first marriage, your marriage is 32, when you could easily be married by 24, 25, or 26.
That's too young.
Kevin, I thought we had
marrying them 20-year-olds.
You have
why do we give these people? Why do we give them so little credit for their maturity? I look at it like this, and I'm gonna say this again: if you guys are out here engaged in sexual activity and out here doing stuff, then what's wrong with adding marriage to that with somebody that you're actually, connected to, in love with, and want to build a life with? Just do that.
Because everybody you have sex with, you don't feel that way about.
Oh, so we're just
doing your thing.
And how does that help you actually get to a husband? See.
Kevin, where are you located again?
The mindset.
Kevin, they're just having fun. Understand, they're just having fun. They're not doing anything.
Well, okay.
Please understand what hot girl summer is. I don't think
I get you this one, Gunny, but so women can't have it both ways. They can't be out here doing what it is they want to do and then say, okay, now I'm ready to get married, and then dudes are like, well, wait a minute. If you had a bunch of guys and now you're looking at me for marriage, and dudes are like,
you rather her wait until y'all married and
you
rather her wait until y'all married and
to wait till like
get it in then? What do you prefer?
Hey, Kev, I got slight pushback.
No, Jay, it's not something that you have to get out of your system.
Mild pushback.
Go ahead.
They want
for men or for women?
What's pushback, Scam? Go ahead.
Okay. For either or, for men or women. It's not something that you put yourself in a situation where you're going to be harmed.
Y'all make a mess out of a panel now. Like, listen now, I seen a lot of panels. Y'all chill out a little bit. Like, you can't even hear each other. Damn.
Scam, you had a question?
Go ahead, Scam. Hold on. I'm gonna orchestrate it now. Cause I tried to leave for 2 seconds. And y'all motherfuckers in here acting like toddlers, so I guess I gotta stay here. Go ahead, Scam.
I'm innocent. No, I was gonna say this. And I hear this across the crustosphere and then in real life and all over the place. Here's the deal. Most of the people that you see were not prepared for marriage. They just weren't. I grew up in a two-parent household and all this stuff. I wasn't fully prepared for marriage. So, and I grew up in a nice black community and everything. There was a whole bunch of marriages. Most of them didn't prepare the next generation for marriage. Somewhere, somebody got burnt. Like I see a lot of people who got sold the dream, men and women. They said, my brother, go to college, and when you got that piece of paper in your hand, the women are going to come out the sky and marry you, my brother. And it was a lie. There's people on the crust panels that never got over that. They were told that they just had to get a job and do this and protect and provide and all them talking points, and they were a lie. So they're mad at trying to beat up the women all over the panels and even out in the streets. The women were told that just do what you do, be strong, independent, whatever it is. Get your degree, and the man's going to come out the sky. The pastor told them the same thing, and it was a lie. They didn't tell them the very things that, like even in when you see me roasting them other panels, all the men talk about is protecting and providing. Women ain't screaming for no protection. And even with this, get the bag and get the money. So you tell a dude who's 20, go chase money for 10 years. And then he's 30, got no relationship skills. Been chasing money his whole day. Know nothing about a marriage. And if he's not chasing women for marriage, what women has he been dealing with for the last 10 years? Out of control women. Then you see him on the panel yelling, come on, they all 304s, they all want the money. Then they come into these spaces and they hear the same stuff going back and forth and back and forth. And most of it doesn't even make any sense. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. We're going to be, I'm not. I'm going to eventually find a spouse to get the hell up out of here. But they're going to be on, man, they won't protect and provide. Another 70-year-old person been on the panels 30 years. These men ain't nothing. That's what it's going to be.
We know why we're single. Why are you single? Just tell us.
What are you looking to hear? Better question is, what is it exactly that you're looking to hear?
What's the answer?
This seems like a targeted question.
You're the one talking. What's the answer?
The answer. Because I don't have a spouse.
He just did the same thing that we accused the women of doing.
And what is that? And what is that?
Trying to figure out
she asked you a direct question. Why are you single?
Okay, let's ask somebody, why are you unemployed? Because they don't have a job.
No.
What is that you really want to know?
What are your qualifications?
So I'll answer the question then. So if someone were to ask me, why am I single? I am single because I haven't found the right person. I am single because I can't find someone to match my energy. I am single because I've been working on myself for the last 10 years and maybe I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm single because blah, 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 blah. But I'm single because I'm single. That's what we accuse women of doing.
But kind of. But I think Scam's question back to sis, I think was actually a good question. Because what's the intention? Yeah, he said, I forget exactly what he said, but it sounded like he was like, what's the intention of the question? Like, what are you actually searching for? Are we saying you single too, nigga? Wait, let me finish. So, y'all don't listen. Y'all niggas ain't that tough.
Like I said, I'm searching for his answer.
So what happens is people will ask a question like, nigga, you single too, shut the fuck up, or they might actually want the answer. We know that happens. So when he asked his question back, that's kind of what he was trying to clarify. I felt like, but Scam, they want to know because you 42, right? And you understand the issues, but I also didn't hear a solution when you uncovered all the issues. So they want to understand, why are you still outside when you understand all the issues that we have in our community?
First of all, there is no community. This is people do what they want to do.
Sure.
But if I didn't have solutions, then that would mean I wouldn't qualify for marriage or nothing. And if I got some solutions, that would mean I'm probably been on the other side, not knowing nothing, and now I may know something, which means I'm learning and doing the things to prepare myself to actually go find a spouse, best qualified candidate. Mm-hmm. But most people don't even identify the problem to begin with.
That's true.
They just inflate and pour gasoline on the problem. For example, And then I'll pass the mic.
No, go ahead.
All the protect and provide garbage. None of these spaces, still haven't found one that actually talks about relationship skills. Putting a man and a woman in the same place within 2 meters of each other and them actually working together. That's communication. That's conversation. That's expectations. That's actual love. All this other stuff. Because let's be real. People who are married are not all these high value general wealth building people. That's 2, 3, 4% of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Married people going to 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in any city that y'all can think of, getting in the back of Honda Accords or car seat in the back. All these unrealistic stuff, that's not reality.
Mm-hmm.
Go in your own city and go look around. That's not who's married. And they're staying together, a lot of them.
But I think the reality of it is
characters on YouTube that don't exist.
Let them finish. Let them finish.
No, I was just gonna say, men lack emotional intelligence, men lack leadership, men lack awareness, men lack adaptability, men lack confidence and general communication skills. They're bleeding to death. It's bad. The women, emotional intelligence, they're lacking, or either emotional care. Fitness, actually both sides, lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Care, selflessness, they're just lacking. And I don't see a whole groups of people working on these things. I actually see people getting worse.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. That was good. I mean, that I feel like that's an answer. I think it was not terrible. Be love with the $5 super chat. Scam likely. Scam, you want to read this one?
We love $4.99. Scam likely. Something about you bothers me. You seem cool, but don't know how to be serious for 2 seconds. You're so sexy, and you're just distracting me so much.
She didn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read it wrong.
And then one more scam. Go ahead.
Get scam out of here. I'm here to stay.
Yo, Will, you know the kickoff is $20. You know that. Shut up. What up, Will?
Shit like that.
Scam likely off the panel is $20, but right now we're having a sale. If you send another 5 right now.
So Scam, you listed a lot of issues and problems. Okay, and that's fine. So the people who are dealing with that on both the men and women's side, I would just leave those people alone. That's literally the exact type of people you're supposed to avoid. And you certainly should not be given. Like you.
What do you mean the people who are dealing with it? What do you mean?
People. Okay, you listed a lot of problems. You said lack of emotional intelligence, lack of a whole bunch of other stuff that makes them qualified as husbands and wives, and good relationship partners, all that other stuff. Occam's razor, right? The simplest solution is the easiest. Avoid them all together. Let them work on themselves and engage to the extent that they get themselves ready. That's neither here nor there. That's not your problem. It's not a woman's issue or problem to get a man together to get him to husband and fatherhood, and it's not, and then vice versa. It's not our issue either to get a woman to.
I've been booted. I was trying to give the man a I've been booted. I was trying to give him a discount. Y'all have a good night.
Okay.
For Illuminati for life.
Hey, Scam, man. Can you leave your email in the back chat?
Sure. I'll put my IG up there.
Yeah, put your IG up
there. I was giving solutions. That's probably why he booted me.
Thanks. Yeah, Scam, leave me your IG, bro. I'm gonna just put you in the back chat. Somebody, there has been a night where people have been paying back and forth to bring people back up.
Is that a permanent boot or is it 20 minutes? How's it work?
Yeah, well, it's a 20-minute, and then but if somebody pays the 20, you come right back up. We had a war one night. Who was getting kicked off that day? Rock got kicked off 10 times. Somebody brought him back 10 times. So
I can make y'all some money.
But isn't that the easiest solution, just to avoid those people that are problematic? Matter of fact, that's literally the answer. The answer, because if you're a problematic person, man or woman, then people aren't dealing with you. Now you have to fix yourself. So this thing about this guy isn't ready or the women aren't ready, don't deal with them. The guys that I could teach, coach, mentor, and counsel, my focus, because I talk to young men, is women who are problematic, leave them alone. They got to figure that stuff out on their own. And the other thing too is we got to get away from.
Well, hold on, Mr. Cat. You want to that initial point though, right? If you got another point, cool. But does anybody want to address that point? Me, I feel like that's much easier said than done, because people ain't walking around with a sign on their head like, yo, I'm selfish as shit. And then oftentimes you'll come through and it'll be a representative. And then you learn, and then we leave with love, and then love happens, then you don't want to leave, then you get in a situation. And then motherfuckers like Jada Pink can call it an entanglement, right? Well, we probably need to leave with like purpose and things that are more tangible, but love often leads the way, which is righteous, but love is dangerous, right? Because love is often synonymous with insanity. You know, what would you do for a person you love, like your kids and shit like that? So, well, go ahead.
I can agree to that, but don't you see the problems developing? And at some point, you're like, look, this is not for me. And the only reason I say that is because I was in a relationship myself, and within 3 months, I was done with it because I saw the problems developing. I was done.
But you know, we get blinded by beauty too, men.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, when she pretty, we let her get away with more shit.
But and I'll even add that she was very attractive, right? Still, even with all of that, I was done because the problems just were too much. And I'm like, look, I'm not. It's not my job to get all of this stuff fixed that you got going on.
Yeah, you're right, and I think
you can come back to me if I'm ready, if I'm available. If you get it all squared away,
when you fix yourself.
But now,
but one of the scam's other points was men have these insecurities too, because so many men. What's the stat I put on, Asia? It's like 30% of men, like was it under 30, haven't had sex in a year. So when men get a woman that he thinks is attractive, he doesn't think he has that many opportunities, right? Because we do carry around some baggage with us as well. So I just think it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan till you get punched in your shit, right? And then that jab cross, you can't see straight. Now it's a cross jab uppercut, but you didn't practice that. So I just and that's a bad combination. That's why I put those together. You know what I'm saying? So Mike Brown with the $5 super chat. It's the voices, nigga. I think he's talking about put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Mr. Kev, what was your second point? Unless anybody else wanted to address that. I just listening. So
yeah, I want to respond.
They're getting tired. Go ahead.
Kevin, I understand your sentiment, and I think that you're making a good point, but speaking personally, I think that a lot of times when it comes to dating and in relationships, I as an individual will sometimes blur the lines between trying to vet someone and not even vet. Once we're in a relationship, in the relationship stage, just trying to discern the difference between this is something that I should be fighting for and this is something that I should let go. Like, is this where we do the work and I'm unpeeling layers about you and I'm learning more about you and I don't love all of it, so do I just up and bounce because I don't like everything that I see? Or do I stay and we work through things and yada, yada, yada. So it's a difficult balancing act, but it's not unique. It's not novel. I mean, everybody goes through the same shit when you're dating and when you're getting to know people, when you're in relationships and encounters. So to say very, definitively to just stay away from those people, it's just not easy. Stay away from society, then stay away from humanity. It's just not realistic to do. You have to go through the motions to get to know and see who people are, and then make decisions based on what you've witnessed.
Okay, so what would be in a reasonable timeline that you go, look, this is not going to be what I thought it was. We are not going to move forward in this relationship.
If I'm in a relationship,
yeah.
At this point in my life, I would probably say about a year. When I was younger, when I was in my 20s and I thought I was going to marry the man I was dating, it was 5 years.
Okay. All right. I would trim that down a bit. I would go a year, if you're older, a year and a half, maybe, and then 2 years if you're younger.
Well, I appreciate your advice.
I would just trim that down.
I think it has a lot to do with.
And that's not necessarily you. I'll just trim that down. I don't. Does it take 5 years to get to know?
No, it doesn't. But I was in my 20s, and again, I was seeking marriage, and I thought I was going to marry this man, and I thought that we had to go through the motions of getting to know one another and building life with one another and getting past the representative. And people make mistakes, and you break up, and you get back together, and there's forgiveness, and there's love, and yada yada yada. So for me, it took me 5 years.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna get Tay. Tay has something. Go ahead, Tay.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think it has a lot to do with the discernment and your emotional intelligence. It seems like, Mr. Kevin, you had a lot of that. So 3 months and you were like, all right, now I'm done. But some people don't know their boundaries or what they're willing to put up with, especially when you're maybe not that far in the dating to come to a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody doesn't make the cut. So I think it depends on where you are with your emotional intelligence personally.
Yeah. Tay, you think it's discernment more than like emotional intelligence? You think like we just can't quite identify stuff, I feel like. You know?
I think, like I said, I think it's person based, because like you can have a certain connection with a person that you've just met and then y'all feel like y'all known each other forever, or you know what I mean, or you could just kind of be talking to somebody, you just not feeling it, like they're not giving you, nothing, you know what I mean. So that's what I mean in terms of like discernment. You should know yourself enough.
Tay, do you think women get blinded like men do by like handsome or attractive, however you would say it? Like, cause a man will stick it out with a woman because she pretty, and he don't know.
Like you mean like letting them slide like on stuff? Like
yeah,
that?
or maybe like pipe, if he piping you, like does that help?
Well, I'm gonna speak for me. Like, yes, a man has gotten away with some things.
No, speak for all these heifers. I believe you.
No, I can't. I'm gonna speak for me because I don't know what's going on. I can't speak on their vaginas. I can only speak on mine. But no, but honestly, yeah, I think it has a lot to do with it. Maybe men more so because y'all value the way we look a little bit more. But I think women are more forgiving sometimes. You know what I mean? Like if he make a lot of money or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be something else. Yeah.
But what's equivalent to her beauty? Is it the money, you think, more so than his looks?
I mean, I think we talked about that on a previous podcast. It has a lot to do with like what the guy's working with overall. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
It's overall.
Oh yeah. You're right, Tay. Because you said that nigga from McDonald's will never come to your house. I remember. You're right.
I did not say that. I said I would date him. I ain't giving nobody my address. Don't nobody get my address. So yeah, you're right.
He could be the general manager, right, Tay?
Now we meeting somewhere still. I don't give a damn. He can own it. Okay, you're not coming to my house. Not if we just dating.
Oh man. Interesting. Anybody have anything else for me?
Well, the other thing is, why is there? Well, we weren't taught this. We weren't taught that. So look, at some point, once you become an adult, then whatever you were taught or not taught by your parents, you're gonna have to take charge of that and learn it for yourself. Because we can't use that as an excuse. And one of the reasons I say that is that I know as a fact that men, we don't get that excuse, especially black men. We don't get that excuse. Well, I'm 25 years old. Nobody taught me actually how to be a man. Nobody's gonna sit there and listen to that.
Are you speaking to what Scam Likely said?
Yeah, but I've heard this generally also in multiple discussions, and I've heard it generally. So one of the reasons it kind of links toward black people mostly is because there's always, well, I didn't grow up with a father, so I didn't get taught this. We didn't have the 2-parent homes, I didn't get taught this. Okay, so whatever you got or did not get taught, it's immaterial once you become an adult. You're gonna have to get to it and get on it, and then get that information yourself and become that productive adult that's going to be good for being a good citizen, contributing to society, and then actually being a husband or father or wife and mother. Like,
Kevin, you gotta get that. Mr. Kevin, where do they get that information from though?
So if you didn't get a mentor, then you got to find one, somebody that you actually trust. Look, so there's people that generally somebody trusts in life. Women trust other women who's successful and doing it right, or doing it the way they would like to see it done. And then men trust other men who they're looking at that guy as an example, going, you know what? I didn't have this, but you know what, Mr. Kevin, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see you talk about marriage and relationships and, things about life and this, that, and the third. What do you recommend? What do you suggest?
Yeah.
And if that person's willing to do it, now I'm not doing work for anybody, but I got free advice all day long. And if you're doing most of the work, then I'm willing to give you the pointers along the way. Because that's what a mentor does. Yes?
Yeah.
I was just asking because if they don't know to ask anyone, or they've never been in situations where they haven't trusted anyone to ask the question, or they don't have a group of men around them to even initiate the question, how are they supposed to know to ask?
How are they supposed to know?
Yeah.
You got to find it with. at some point you're going to have to take account for what you got going on.
My point is,
we got to put it back on the person to actually go out and look for the help themselves.
My point
so this
is,
thing that I don't know or I can't.
It's based off experiences. You don't just pop up in the morning and say, "Oh, I gotta ask how to balance my checkbook," if it's never been taught to you. You don't wake up with that question.
He's saying
you don't know your life is not going in the direction you don't want it to go. You know your life is not where it needs to be, and you know even if you don't know how to get there. Even if you gotta hire somebody, like there's multiple ways to get there. I mean,
all I'm saying is you don't know what you don't know. And until you experience something where it dictates you or forces you, then you will know to ask the question.
Well, not being successful forces you to actually find answers, doesn't it?
There are some people that
you're 23 years old, you're unsuccessful, you're a loser. Now you got to find some answers.
There are some people that live on the street and are okay with
I'm
that.
not giving you an out. I'm not giving you an out. I'm not going to give you an out on this. I'm not going to give you an out.
Let me clarify it real quick, right? So the reason is, you don't know what you don't know, right? The checkbook, somebody will have to teach you. However, the issues that we have, we acknowledge them and then we excuse them. I.e., the reason why, and I'm just going to use women, the reason why we have to be so masculine is X, Y, and Z. However, we identified the problem, right? You're talking about stuff that we don't understand. We know we have these issues, but we continue to perpetuate and live in them. Why? I think those are the problems that we need to remedy.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I think those are the ones we're kind of talking about. So like, you know what I mean? Like black people, we're the most overweight people in the country. We know that. Let's do something about it. So it's a problem that we know exists, not necessarily something we just don't even understand.
So Miss Rowe. So you see a young man, he's 25 years old. He's basically essentially a bum in life. He's not going anywhere, no direction, no nothing. And you know, are you going to give him and he's fully able-bodied, he has mental capacity, full mental capacity. You're going to give him an excuse for being essentially a bum at age 25? You're going to let him off on that because he didn't get it when he was an adult? He didn't get it at 17 and earlier?
I didn't say that, but I will use a real life example. I have a 47-year-old friend who has not lived a life. He's lived a very sheltered life, and he does. And again, I think Ham said this before. I believe he's on the spectrum. And so there are some things that he just doesn't know. He does not understand. He does not have emotional intelligence to understand certain things. There are people that just don't know and don't get it. And so therefore, I can, as his friend, tell him 1,000 things over and over again. That does not mean that he's going to grasp what I'm saying to him. It's going to take him to be in something to experience it. Yeah. So you don't make excuses, but he also never had anybody, including his parents, not hold him accountable.
Yeah, some people got to put their hand on the stove, bro. You're right. Right. Also, that motherfucker, but you didn't tell everybody he can do a Rubik's Cube with his eyes closed too. Motherfuckers like that ain't, you know what I'm saying? Him being on that spectrum, there's pros and cons of everything, man.
Listen, what you just described, Miss Rowe, was actually an exception and not the. I would say that's an exception and not the rule because that doesn't account for the majority of the population. I remember I said the conditions were able-bodied, full mental capacity, no excuses, but you're sitting here as a loser at 25. How? And I'm focusing this on the men. I don't want to get the women riled up, because I'm telling you, men don't get that excuse. We don't get an out at all. We don't get any latitude. And not only, and I'm not even sure I want it. I'm not even sure I would want it. Yeah, I'm going to sit there and be 25 and be a loser and not have any direction for my life whatsoever and use the excuse, well, I didn't get it coming up. Nobody's going to accept that.
Yeah. Word. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. And this has been an awesome panel. Shout out to Mr. Kev, Scam Likely, Gunny, Jay Wells. We got Unlikely up here. I'm gonna have a good time clipping that up right there. It was an awesome debate. Yeah.